Hello everyone and welcome back to the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign. In this evening's video we're going to have a brief look at the high profile trial and the release of Gerard Hutch and how his or some of the incidents and events in that case are mirrored during was mirrored during the course of Aaron's trial and indeed the investigation. And to that end we're going to look or listen to a short extract from an interview Senior Investigating Officer Mr. Pat Marry, who was the senior officer in the investigation in Aaron's case and into the murder of Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. And he's on the Claire Byrne Show and he's given his opinion on the Gerard Hutch release. So just want you to have a quick listen to this and then we'll just discuss what Mr. Marry is saying. So over to Mr. Marry and Claire Byrne.
And the DPP decided then that the should be charges brought against the monk and those others, and that's what happened. And like we can see now from what happened that the main witness was someone who was deemed to be not credible. And when you don't have a credible witness, you can't be believed. And that's it. And the Special Criminal Court, that's the way they viewed it. And everything that Jonathon Dowdall said was just rubbished. So it sort of put a big hole in the evidence in respect to what the Gardaí had.
Because there was nothing else, really.
There was nothing else. There was circumstantial evidence in respect to the guns being sold and that type of stuff. But look, you need to have a lot more than that. But look, I wouldn't be in any way critical of the guys. They've done a fantastic job. And not only...
So there we have it, folks. That Senior Investigating Officer, Mr. Pat Marry, he's speaking with Claire Byrne and he's telling us there that this witness was deemed not credible. Now here he's speaking about Jonathon Dowdall in respect of the Gerard Hutch trial. And the Jonathon Dowdall's testimony was rubbished. And that's it. And Judge Byrne's obviously agreed with that sentiment. And that is the reason why Gerard Hutch walked free, because the witness was not credible. So let's take what happened in the court last week and we'll take it to the investigation Mr. Pat Marry ran from Fort Apache in Dundalk when he decided to involve himself with criminals, drug dealers and illegal immigrants, and he tried to deem that these people were credible. And to that end we're going to listen now to a couple of clips from Mr. Pat Marry's self-appreciating eulogy about how great he is himself, and we're going to look at his involvement with Christopher the Layer and how he somehow allowed a criminal to give a testimony against Aaron Brady. And also we're looking at here is the involvement of Sinn Féin councillor Anton Waters, which is going to become very, very relevant in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to just listen now to a clip from Making the Detective. Please get the podcast and listen to Mr. Pat Marry and how he speaks. And we can show, and we have shown on a number of occasions, he's told a tissue of lies and he's actually talking drivel here. Because the man he's speaking to, Christopher, is a liar. So let's listen to the clip now.
Interesting thing about this is that there was a newspaper article in the local Argus by a Sinn Féin councillor about the armed robbery, and that anyone with information should come forward and tell the Gardaí. And this particular councillor put it up on his Facebook account. And a friend of his who was living in America contacted him and said, I know Aaron Brady's over here and he told me he shot the guard, and would you get the guards to contact me? And I took up that inquiry and I spoke with the counsellor and he told me, yeah, this is the man in America who's telling me this.
Over a phone. So there was a newspaper article and a Facebook article that was put out by Sinn Féin councillor Anton Waters, and for some reason Pat Marry doesn't even want to mention Anton Waters there and give him some credit for this illuminating information that he was taking from Christopher the Layer and Christopher the Criminal in New York. He says that a friend of his, that he's relating to Anton Waters there, that a friend of Anton Waters has contacted him. Christopher is no friend of Anton Waters, because Christopher actually robbed a Sinn Féin property in Newry. So I cannot see under any circumstances, and we'll be naming and giving full details of Christopher in the very, very near future, because we've had about enough of this eulogising by Pat Marry and the likes of the gutter press here in the Republic of Ireland. So we'll have to take this to the next level and show them that the layers they are. Christopher says, I know Aaron Brady, and he told me he shot the guard. Christopher, you're a liar. Aaron Brady was never in the pub that evening that you said you were in the Tombstone in New York. And we know that for a fact from a number of people that was in the wedding party and Aaron's sister Lorraine. You are a bona fide liar, Mr. Christopher. But we'll deal with that as we continue. Going to listen to the next clip, and this is Pat Marry again from Making a Detective, giving more information about his interactions with this criminal in New York.
To the Sinn Féin councillor that Aaron Brady had confessed to the shooting. Pat was stunned, although it wasn't the first time in his career he'd come across a casual admission of guilt under the influence of alcohol.
And I said, would you make a statement? And he wouldn't make a statement. He said he didn't want to make a statement. I said, that's fine. I understand if you don't want to, and I can understand you may be under fear.
The witness told Pat he didn't fear anyone. If anything, he seemed insulted by the accusation.
Just a very short clip there again, and it's just to highlight that Pat Marry, a senior investigating officer, was willing to take hearsay, drunk admission into a court in respect of a capital murder. And it shows the depths again that Marry and those in the incident room in Fort Apache were willing to stoop to try and secure an unsafe conviction. A conviction of anyone. It didn't matter. Their colleague was murdered. They'd made an absolute mess of the initial investigation, and now they were out to frame Aaron Brady. We'll listen to the last little clip here, and then this will give us some more details of either how stupid Pat Marry is, or how bad a detective he is, or how much of a liar he is, or as we believe, the Aaron Brady campaign believes, a very substantial combination of all those three things. So we listen to the last little clip here.
The man was keen to talk and apologised for leaving Pat waiting.
I got a phone call then from him on a different number, and he says, I'm sorry. I said, grand, not a bother. But he says, I did make up my mind, I will make a statement. And I said, are you sure? He said, yes. There's one difficulty, but he says, I ran it through two very good friends of mine, people I would trust, and one of them told me, make your statement and stand up and be counted. And the other one told me, don't have anything got to do with the guards, keep your mouth shut, you know nothing. And that was, he says, but I think I've thought it out myself, and I think about Adrian Donahou's wife, and in particular his two children, and that's why I want to make a statement. So he said, if you come over on the 15th of that month, whatever it was, 15th of September, October, whatever it was, he says, I'll meet you in New York.
They arranged to meet on 10th and 24th Street in Chelsea Village, a busy, upmarket part of Manhattan.
And he says, I'll meet you at the corner there at such a time. And I said, fair enough. And I was delighted with that. I said, I thought I had... Now, I had this person, I knew who he was, and I had him well vetted and checked out. You always have a fear that you're being set up, that they have a plant in there to tell you lies or to put you off the investigation or to, you know. But I had this person well checked out, and I was quite happy with his bona fides and that he was who he was.
So the final part of that audio there from Pat Marry's Making the Detective is the vital piece of information Marry gives in respect of Christopher the Layer. I had him vetted. for fear of a setup, and he could be telling lies. I had him well checked, and I was happy with his bona fides. Christopher was a criminal who was on the run from Northern Ireland. He was chased out of his hometown, or his home village of Mike, just across the mountain here from us, here in South Armagh. So if Pat Marry is telling the truth, he knew the scumbag that Christopher was. He knew he was not a reliable witness. He knew he was not a suitable witness. He knew that he wasn't able to come back to Ireland. I do have strong information that he wasn't even able to come back for one of his parents' funerals. That he slipped in quietly a day or two after. So that's the sort of lowlife Pat Marry was dealing with here. And we know Christopher is a liar, and as I said, over the course of the next week or so, we will be giving full details on Christopher, Ronan and Anthony. All their details, all their interactions and their activities of their families, and their activities and interactions with Homeland Security. So all that will be highlighted in the coming weeks. So those few little clips was just to bring what happened in court last week in respect of Gerard Hutch. Jonathon Dowdall being labelled an unreliable witness, and here we have our son Aaron is in jail for a murder he could not have committed. We know that from the evidence, the factual evidence, a murder he cannot have committed. And Pat Marry is still eulogising about being a detective on the Claire Byrne Show, and it really is stomach churning to listen to his voice sometimes. But nonetheless, we'll continue to highlight these aspects, and we'll keep bringing these points forward as the cases move forward in the coming weeks, and as we move into Aaron's appeal in October. Once again, thank you to everyone for watching the videos. Please continue to like, comment and share. Once again, I have to tell you, our sites are being attacked and shadow banned, and they're messing about with our numbers, our figures and our algorithms. So we do need your help. We do need you to continue to share. And if you see some of our videos and there's only 15 or 20 views or whatever on it, that's obviously been tampered with, and we need you to continue to share those videos. Once again, thank you very much, and we'll see you at our next video, and take care. Bye bye.